questions, you can definitely put your questions in the question box and we'll answer any questions for you. But for those that do not know, this is my daughter, Roshana.
It's me.
My beautiful daughter, Roshana. And she, we are building Rainey's empire. And so tonight we're going to talk about social media, but we do have a real estate business together, and we will definitely add beauty. We both are licensed cosmetologists, and so I want to sell lashes. And so, and she does lashes. So we're going to get that together, and or another salon in the future, but I'll just be a little private investor along the way. But yeah, so but we're also building a social media business. And so I offer online classes. So if you're interested in creating your business plan, I also do consulting. I do one-on-one consulting. And then, Roshana, I was thinking today we might, from this conversation, add some classes on for those that want to build an online business. And I could tell you how Roshana plays a major role in this whole setup of the social media. But before we get into that, we lost Roshana. She'll be back shortly. I'll turn back on the... Hello. Roshana lost her internet, but she'll be back on. Welcome those that are coming in. So tonight we're going to talk about building a social media business. And so here she is. Let's get her back on here.
Sorry.
You disappeared.
Sorry,
But,
sorry.
That's quite all right. Roshana plays a major role in this business that we're building here. So she's behind the scenes person, and I have to, beat her up a little bit to get her on to come live. So this is your first live, you said.
Yep.
But before we get into that, Roshana, introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, hello, everybody. Sorry if I can't see comments of who's coming in exactly. My phone's a little bit frozen right now, but hopefully you can hear me fine. But my name is Roshana Rainey. I'm 22 years old. I am Renee's daughter. I meant to ask her before this live, do I call you Mom or Renee? Which one are we on? But I'll call her Renee. But just so y'all know, that's my mama. So I graduated from the University of Cincinnati just this past December. I graduated 2 bachelor degrees, one in marketing and one in international business. I'm also, as my mom already said, I'm a licensed cosmetologist as well. I just don't actively do hair or nails or anything in that field right now. But ever since I've got my license, I've dibbled and dabbled in something since I've been out of school. As far as like my background in social media, since this is the topic of this live, and I just want to double check. Can you hear me okay, Renee?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
For some reason, I can't see your video, but it's my side. I came out, came back in, but I'm not going to touch anything else. So as far as my background in social media goes, as far as me personally, I'm not necessarily a social media person. I'm not one to be on social media actively, making sure to post so many times a day and share what I'm doing in my day. Every now and then I do, but that's just me personally. As far as professionally, I started working as an intern at the Cincinnati Music Festival back in... what was that? I think the summer of 2019, I became an intern there, which was a really cool experience. If anybody who doesn't know, the Cincinnati Music Festival is a R&B and jazz festival that they put on every year in Cincinnati for the most part, not including COVID, where they have, R&B jazz artists come perform. It's usually over let's see if I remember the numbers right. I want to say 30,000, but I also want to say 80,000, and that's a big gap. I can't remember the number exactly, but it's in the thousands. As far as how many people come each year to the Cincinnati Music Festival, we have people travel from out of state, out of country, out of town, and then we also have, people who live locally in Cincinnati or locally in Ohio. So that was kind of like my indoor step to social media, as far as learning how to do it in a professional manner. And within that internship, I didn't really start out in social media. That was more of um, my responsibility for the festival weekend. So during the summer, I was just helping sell tickets. I was helping create content with the production manager, um, different things like that. We can get into depth later on. But that was really my start into the social media field professionally. Um, yeah, that's kind of like a brief overview of me and then my segment into social media.
And she's very modest, so she has worked with celebrities. Got a chance to work with celebrities, and one of the things is a little off topic, but I believe that you should expose your children to different things, and so um, she's been meeting celebrities since she was I don't remember how old, but so I can remember the first time she met her first celebrity, she was a little starstruck, but she got over it within 5 minutes. But yeah, I think you should expose people. But back to the social media part of it, like when you see me, you see her, and she has plays a major role. So, for instance, start setting up the social media business. I needed a website. So Roshana created a website for me. So I would think that, well, first we came together and we discussed the plans. I explained to her, what I was looking for, what I wanted to do. And so then she created a website for me. And so, so tell us about how you take people's ideas and custom design their websites for them.
Yeah. So kind of reeling it back to my social media start, that was also, it wasn't necessarily the start of me with making websites. I kind of made websites throughout my, I guess, teenage years. Um, I did when my mom opened her salon here in Ohio. I was really playing around. I wasn't necessarily going in a professional manner and saying like, I'm a website designer now. It was definitely just kind of like toying with it, just following directions of what the website gives you. I was using Wix and I still use Wix because that's just what I've learned on. And that's just what I have experience in. But pretty much working for the music festival, I had to help rebuild the website. So that's kind of where I learned more of my recent um, skills, I guess you could say, with Wix.com as far as making websites. And Wix.com is definitely a very good platform if you're starting out a business or anything like that, or even if you want to play around. I use Wix to make a homework assignment for English one time by making a website. So it's just kind of doing things like that kind of helped build my skill set in making websites and making them from scratch and things like that. So as far as the Kingdom Heirs goes, as my mom said, or as Renee said, um, basically, she sat down and she just explained her vision of what she wanted, a vision of what her products and services were going to be that she's offering to her audience, and pretty much just what she expected out of the website's role and everything, pretty much. So with that information after meeting, I just asked simple questions like, do you have a company logo? Do you have company colors? Things like that. Those are questions as a creative that you want to ask any business that you're working with, or even for yourself. If you don't necessarily have any type of specific color palette that you want to use, or, you don't have a logo made yet, if you are using someone else, kind of like myself, to make a website or help you with your logo design, they can do that. And just that process is pretty much the same as a website. You explain your vision, explain what you want to portray to your audience, and as a creative, they're supposed to help you, or as yourself, you just kind of envision what you see. You can envision what you want physically, but you also have to envision what you want with your imagination a little bit too. So that's kind of what I do. So after meeting with Renee and the group, pretty much I was able to just sit down and I just started creating. I made sure to follow the key guidelines of what their business vision was and also their business plan. That's also a key when making a website, is going over the company's business plan with them, or as yourself. You can put this in either light pretty much, but if you're making it for yourself or making it for a business, you always want to look at their business plan. With a business plan, pretty much you can see what their target audience is, what they're looking for, what problem they need to solve. So that can also help you create the website or the social media platforms or the content that you put out to your audience. That's actually very key to the process. So little plug, if you don't have a business plan for your business, definitely take Renee's class, Building a Dynamic Business Plan on the Kingdom Heirs sites. You can see I work in the background. But yeah, that's pretty much the process as far as starting it. And then you just kind of make revisions as you go with whoever you're working with or yourself. You just make revisions like, okay, I really like this concept. I don't really like this color in it, or I don't like this font. You can just, just build a structure and then work around that structure pretty much.
And I could tell you, as a business owner, and Roshana could tell you, this Kingdom Heirs started off with 6 of us. So not only did she have to cater to me, but she had to cater to 5 other different personalities. But she was able to bring it all together into what we all were very satisfied with. And so you did choose the colors for us, which is our colors are red, black, and white.
Mm.
So when you guys see those types of, I do dabble a little bit in doing some of my own ads, like the daily quotes and stuff like that. I usually don't bother Roshana with that. But when you see the red and the white and the black ones, that's Roshana. So she really designs and posts for Kingdom Heirs. And so I was not allowed to touch Kingdom Heirs sites, but I did kind of. But then I called her up and I said, okay, Roshana, I need you to take that over again, because it was getting too much for me. Now, you did also create a logo for us.
Yes.
Which is the crown. Kingdom Heirs with a crown. And that is so significant and important to, so the colors mean, it's associated to your business. The logo has to also have meaning and catch on. And that's another thing while we're on here. We're not having a meeting right now, but we do have to make the crown. There's nothing that I want to change about it, but just like Nike, their logo, when you see Amazon's logos are so major. McDonald's with the arches, the logo is everything. Apple, all of that is strong and can definitely, that represents your company. And so thank you for designing that logo for us. I really like the crown. Now, the other thing that Roshana does for me, because she's kind of like getting more hands-on, because it's actually, me getting online and doing classes, Roshana actually is the one that got me online doing videos years ago. We used to do mother-daughter videos, cooking videos. But she kind of left me there because she said, she's really not a social media person. But videos are huge. So if you're going to, you definitely have to have videos. Now, I'm just going to share personal. Like I said, I'm letting you in on the behind the scenes. I didn't want to use my face. You know, I'm 57 years
Not at
old.
all.
Am I 56, 57, whatever, one of those ages. But I'm just saying, like, I wanted to use Roshana's face as the brand, and she was not having it. And Roshana, you can allude more to that, but I didn't want to use my face and as the face of the brand. Although I did, when I had my salon, it was Renee's Hair Weaving Studio, but that was back when I was 20 and 30 years old. Now I'm 50. And so Roshana was adamant, no, mommy, we're going to use you. You know, you're the face of the brand, so you need to be there. And I'm telling you, you make me look so wonderful out there. Thank you so much. But just
My pleasure.
share why you felt that that was important to use my face as the brand.
The main thing is, you know, it's your dream, you know, it's your passion. That was, you know, this is something that has been growing in you for a while now. And I didn't, you know, the face of the brand is very important. You know, some people aren't necessarily the face of their brand, they're behind the brand, but they're not necessarily the face. They're going to put, you know, actors in front of the camera, or they're going to put well-known people in front of the camera before themselves, because that's just not the type of person they are. But as far as what Renee was offering and her products and services, I felt it was best that it was her face that was coming forward the most, just because of, like I said, you know, it's her passion, it's what's driving her, it's her services that she's offering. Um, so, you know, me being the person who's behind the scenes, you know, my face, yes, you know, it could be good for certain things, but at the same time, you know, people, the audience may get confused when they see my face in front of the camera, but they don't know, you know, they don't necessarily know who I am, what I'm about. But with, you know, Renee's face in front of the camera, the one putting out the marketing, the one who's, you know, front and center as far as the brand goes, people will see, you know, her and her true self, what she believes in, things like that, which will draw the audience closer to the things that she's offering, her services that she's offering, as far as her courses, as far as, you know, the videos that she puts out in the mornings, just everything like that. You know, it's very key to the brand, especially with this type of service that she's offering. You know, she's offering business planning courses and one-on-ones to help you build your financial literacy, things like that. Whatever you need as far as building wealth, you know, she's your coach for that. She's Renee Rainey, the wealth coach. So it wouldn't have meant as much if I'm in front of the camera saying book Renee's classes, she's the wealth coach, because then they're like, okay, well, why are you on the camera then? You know, it's those type of questions. So as long as the audience is, you know, clear on the message that you're offering, clear on what your business or brand is offering to them, selling to them, whatever the case, that's the most important part, because you don't want your audience to be confused. You want your audience to have a just easy route. Like, I have this problem, I need this type of solution, and I need Renee Rainey, the wealth coach, to help me through it. And, you know, that's what we kind of want to portray, especially in social media. Social media moves very quickly. So, you know, I just felt that was the easiest way to brand, is using your face behind your message and behind your brand. It's the best way, in my opinion.
And, you know, and I just want to encourage someone, because, like I said, if you have a business, you definitely want to do videos, you want to just really provide content. And so you may not think you're video ready, or you may not think you're articulate enough. And trust me, you know, I have my flaws, but when you do it, God will place an anointing on it, especially if you have a desire to do it. And what you hear, God, when he touches it, you'll hear something different. And so he's just looking for someone who is willing to get out there and do it. And so I hire Roshana and I pay Roshana. She's the only one getting paid right now. and which she had the option to become a partner, but she said, well, Mom, once you start making money, then I'll slide over to the other side. But I knew I couldn't do it by myself. You can. I've done businesses by myself, but it's nothing like a power of a team. And so, yes, I could do my own ads. I could do a lot of it, but why do it? Because if I'm over here designing my ads, which I do a little bit, and over here putting together content, you just wear yourself out. So hire somebody to help you that can take you where you want to go. Then that frees you up to do what you love doing. And so Roshana serves as the manager. She serves as my manager. She likes to tell me what to do.
That's not the case. That's not the case, everybody.
She likes to tell me what to do.
It's more of, I know what my mom is looking for. So when I see something, I'm like, okay, this is what you were looking for. So, it's just more of constructive criticism. It's coaching, She's my wealth coach. I'm her business coach.
Yeah, but my business coach is a perfectionist.
That is true.
And so sometimes I got to wipe my tear from the corner of my eye. But at the end of the day, I know that she has my best interests at heart. And so I do what she tells me to do. Because what happens when I don't, I circle back around and I say, Roshana, I'm so sorry. I need you to go ahead and do what you had said initially. So, save yourself a lot of time, especially when you have people that are awesome at what they do. And so I can build a website, but guess what? I always get stuck. I can only go but so far. And then me and Roshana, I know the vision for my business. She knows the vision. We both will design a website. Mine will look totally different from hers. She's always been a creative child. So the colors are popping and, the words are just like right on. And so, Roshana, talk about your creative side and how you come up with the concepts and.
Honestly, when I hear from my mom's perspective, she's always telling me that I just whip stuff up. She asks for something,
In
I whip it
5
up
minutes.
and just.
I'm spending hours on a project until I just heck with it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's just, one of my flaws is procrastination. I've been this way since elementary, a toddler, whenever. I've always procrastinated on things. So I just feel like when it comes to graphics, as long as you understand the vision correctly, it's easy for me to understand Renee's vision because, she's my mom. And I understand because, I've been in business meetings, I've been in just the inspirational, those talks that you get in when you feel inspired and you just are talking to someone, a loved one, a friend, family, whoever. You just kind of start rambling. That's kind of what my mom does when it's about business. So I've been hearing this for years and stuff, and it kind of just, unfolded last year, full-fledged. So I already understood the vision. So that kind of helps when I'm making graphics because I know the type of things that she likes. I know what, makes her eyes pop, like, oh my goodness, Roshana, you did it on this. Or, where she starts nitpicking, like, can we do a different font? Can we do a different this? Can we use this picture instead? You'll get, as a creative, you'll get clients like that, who will either nitpick everything, like, I don't like this, I don't like this. Can we change the shade of the color from red to a slightly lighter red? Still red, just a little bit more complicated. But as a creative, that's what they're hired you for because they're not saying they're not creative enough. It just depends. They might not have enough time in their day to be able to do these type of things for themselves, and they want it to look right. And you don't want it to look rushed. You don't want it to just, you threw something together because you needed it and you didn't have any help. So when it comes to graphics, I kind of just, as long as I know the vision or understand the vision of what they're trying to portray and what the purpose of the graphic that is being created is for, It's not necessarily as hard, especially for beginners. If you're doing this yourself, if you don't have, you know, the finances to be able to, you know, hire somebody on your team to do the social media for you or do the graphic um, designing for you or anything like that. Doing it yourself is not that hard. What I do is something that anybody else could do for their business. You know, just the perk of me, I feel like doing it sometimes, so I get hired on and I get paid to do it. So, you know, with you, you just have to think, you know, if you're doing it on your own and you don't have the finances for that help at the moment, then, you know, just take the time to watch a 5-minute video on how to do things. Just simple, you know, like how do I put this together? And then you use your own creativity to just add some splashes to it. Like even if you're using a template from Canva, which is a lot of the times what I use templates and I put my own twist on it. So it's a template, but it's my template, if that makes sense. Like I put my own twist. I decide, you know, I don't like this color. I don't like this placement. I want this bigger, this smaller. You know, you have the power to do that. Um, Even if whether you're doing it yourself or you're hiring someone. So as far as creating content, it's really just putting your imagination to works, and your creativity, um, you know, to put something together that you like and you feel that other people would like too. Yes, if you like it, that's the main thing because it's your brand, your business, you, whatever the case is. You know, and you want it to stay true to yourself, but you also want to make sure that you're engaging your audience, um, that you're putting out something that they want to see as well, or something that they may have never seen before. Those are important key factors as well, when creating graphics.
And how often do I change
Not that often.
your work? Not that often. And it just be a real small change, not a major change.
Right.
So I'm not a difficult client for you.
Mm.
But yeah, now we have grown since I've started. And so what Roshana does for me now is that she creates a folder for me. And we have a lot going on now. So we got book sales, we have online classes going on, we have book clubs going on. We're trying to monetize the different sites now and do memberships, and so so there's a lot going on. And so again, I'm having to like, okay, Roshana, I need you to come back in and get us together. And so what she does is she creates me a folder. So she does my ads ahead of time so I can go in and grab them, modify them, and keep it moving. And so, you know, so that's something that if you have a business and your business is online, that, you know, you can hire somebody that can put you together a packet. And it's just a matter of like on Saturday nights, I have guests. So, you know, I have to get her the bio ahead of time, a picture ahead of time, and she gets my ads ready in a timely fashion. And so, if I don't have them to you by, what's my deadline?
It's technically Wednesday night, but really Thursday.
So if I don't have that information to her, then I'm doing the live because, you know, she set boundaries for me. So she's like, okay, Mom, if you know, have it to me by here. And so that way we work together well. You know, she has her demands, I have my demands, and then we put it together and we're running this business. But, you know, you get busy during the week. You know, I still work a full-time job. I'm doing this on the side. And so, you know, she has enough things made up for me. Like she already has my 4th of July special ad ready, already in the system, scheduled to release. So, you know, find people that you can work with, that can get your job done. And when you get busy, that there's enough templates in your packet that you can go in and like, oh, I didn't get this to my social media person on time, but she already has things made up that I can just go in and throw some dates on it and keep it moving. So just, we just want to encourage you as you're building your social media business and working with others. And, you have to have got to know what you want, and then you can articulate it to the person that's doing the work for you, and you'll find that things run smooth. I know when I released my book, it was my first time writing a book and having it published and put out there on the market. And the lady was asking me questions I didn't know. And so, but after you do it that one time, you'll learn. But, find people that you can work with that can, like I said, I have the benefit of my daughter doing it for me, and who knows me better than my daughter. But also, even though she's a way ahead and I'm taking a mastermind class, I make her take it with me, because that's another thing that I learned with your team. Like, you can't be excelling and your team is down here not growing. You want to come back, get your team, and so that everybody's flowing together on the same page. But if you have people on your team that, isn't growing, doesn't have a desire to grow, like, Roshana's not into social media, but I'm like, in order to stay with me, you know what I'm saying? Starting out on that level, that was fine, but I'm getting ready to go places that I need you to come up in these areas. And so, again, Roshana will look at it, and she learns it so quickly versus me. If I try to do it, now I'm having to edit my videos, and like Roshana, I would never even attempt to edit a video. But again, this is live. So when I get done with this and I'm going to download it, it's going to be as is live. But then I'm also going to download it, edit it a little bit. Roshana already has me a intro and an outro, several of them made up. So you see what I'm saying? Like, I got a nice little packet, because she don't want to be bothered hearing from me every day talking about business and social media. And I will do that. Matter of fact, I told her,
even though that's the case, I still hear it every day. But that's, that's the perk of it being a mother-daughter combo, as well as a manager-client combo. She talks to me on the front end of business and the back end of, this is my day, and let's talk about this business again, but on a different note.
Well, you could tell I've been talking business for years. And so you get it honestly. But again, I have to respect her boundaries. Because there's times when if I call her and she knows that it's something I can do, she's going to let me have it. Like, Mom, you know how to do that. Figure it out. Go find you a video. And I do all that. I'm trained now. I'm going to go and try to figure it out. But then she knows if I'm calling her that I've exhausted everything possible. But then again, 2 minutes later, here's the finished product. It take her about 2 minutes to do it. So yeah, Roshana, I know that I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I know you had some things that you wanted to talk about.
The main things is just, just focusing on your social media presence when building your business. It's very important. And how I said, I'm not a social media person. I am a business-minded, oriented person, but I am not a social media person. So obviously, I know, in the different business let's try that again. Business. What's the word? Help me.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Starts with the E.
Well, you'll think of it.
It's a brain fart, everybody. This happens, especially being a creative. You have those moments, where people get, writers get writer's block, creatives get creative block. Granted, that had nothing to do with creative block. I just can't think of the word.
Well, we have a
business
question.
Endeavors. Endeavors. That's what I'm trying to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Basically, all I was saying is just, your social media presence is important for building a business. And as I was saying, my future business endeavors, I will have to get more active in my social media. whether it be my personal page or it be my business page, of whatever business it may be. I have to make sure that I'm actually active on that because, you know, social media is taking over nowadays, and that the reach through social media versus the reach of how it was back in the day of where you had to do things word of mouth. You had to do things of, you know, I have to do free services for a week to introduce my business or things like that because, you know, you couldn't get the word out fast enough to make sure that your grand opening was a grand opening. You know, just pay attention to those things. Social media is very important to that. You know, making sure you understand your audience, who they are, what they're looking for, what problem they need solved, and how you're the solution to their problem. And, you know, taking the business planning course, you know, you'll learn things like that as far as what your target audience is, what the messages you need to be sending out to them because they have this problem and you're the solution, and you need to learn how to curate a message specifically to that audience. So that kind of all ties into things as far as social media goes. That's why social media nowadays is super, super important. And that's really the main thing I wanted to touch on is just, you know, when you're building a business, you have to pay attention to social media. Unfortunately, you know, it's the new wave. You have to follow it if you want to be successful.
Now we have a question from Ray Jackson. How much of your personal life should be included on your business page?
Honestly, that goes back to what I was saying about you know, my mom being the face of her brand versus me, because it's her message, her passion behind it. So, you know, and knowing your business as far as your business goes, you know, you have a elegant catering business that you're servicing different people. You know, you do plates every now and then, you do private catering events, you do different type of events. So it's really up to you as you know, the business owner, the CEO, the face of your brand. However, you know, it goes back to comfortability. Are you comfortable being the face of your brand? If you're comfortable being the face of your brand, I don't see the problem with having some personal aspects in there just because of the fact of like, it's you, it's your brand. You're showing what built this, what brought this brand about. And I think that's really important to incorporate into your social media just because that kind of relates to people and that brings your audience to you because no matter how, if you're telling a 2-minute story about your life, if a person is listening to that 2-minute story and they hear 5 seconds of something that they went through as well, or 5 seconds of something that they found true to themselves or just similar, they automatically gravitate to you because they're like, oh, like they're doing this and they went through this too. So that shows that I can do this too, or, you know, this is something good for me because this person has, you know, been there before, you know, they understand. So, you know, it just kind of correlates with you as a person, like what you expect from brands. When you go to a restaurant, you expect a certain type of service because you're paying a certain amount. That's the same way someone takes it as when they find your social media and what you're portraying on your social media. Now, it depending on where your brand is at, sometimes it's not the best to show too much personal, just because of the fact of, you know, people are there for your product and your product only. And if that's majority of your audience, they don't really, I'm not going to say care, but they're not concerned about the personal. They're concerned about when can I order this plate? When can I order my private dining experience? How do I go through that process? You know, so you just have to kind of gauge where your audience is at. So that kind of, if that answers your question, I know it was like super detailed and in depth, but.
And I want to chime in on that. From my training, I was taught to have it separate. Now on my so I have several pages. I got a lot of pages out there. So I have under Renee Rainey, I do my my wealth chats. I'll upload my wealth chats, which is what I do in the morning where I inspire, educate, motivate. But everything that I post, everything is for a reason and a strategy. So on my personal page, you'll find some business, but I'll do it. I load where I'm encouraging and inspiring and educating, but I could be myself on that page. So you may find me cooking on that page, or you may find me on a trip somewhere. But on my Kingdom Heirs, I only have Kingdom Heirs business. Matter of fact, like I said, at one point I wasn't even allowed to touch it. So that one is strictly business, and occasionally where it might be personal, it's still I'll tie it into, like I said, everything is storytelling. So, or I share from my experience. So on this page, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about investing, we talk about um, real estate. So everything. You may see, I'll put stuff like that in my story. So I'll share me looking at a property, you know, so that's where I'll share more personal behind the scenes is what I call it. But again, I tie it all, everything that I do, even on my personal page. Even if I take a picture of a food from a restaurant, that's still a purpose, because restaurants will sponsor you. So everything that I post is with a purpose and a strategy that ties back to my business. So that's my spin on that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything she said. Last note on that, just make sure if you are involving something personal onto your business page, that it's still professional and it's still business-like, still representing your brand well, and matching the format of it. Just make sure it's not too off kilter from that. Make sure the professionalism's still there, and things like that. Thank you for your question, Raven.
And she says, thank you. Very good advice. And you guys drop your questions.
Yes, if you guys have any questions,
it's not often
now, you know. Right. It's not often I'm here.
But since you have worked for me, you have picked up some business here and there.
Yeah, definitely.
You've designed,
unintentionally.
Yeah, you've designed some websites. You've done all kinds of stuff. So, but you know what, Roshana, she's just so even kill. Is not something she really wants to do. Roshana could be a millionaire in so many different ways, but she hasn't really found. She hasn't really found that one thing that just sparks for her. So, but she will. But she'll never go hungry because she has multiple talents. And so yeah, now how is it working with family?
You know, for me, it's a positive experience. It's not bad. You know, there are times where I'm like, okay, Mom, I need you to stop calling me today. I'm done. I don't want to talk about nothing no more. Give me a break. But, you know, that's the advantage of working with, not really the advantage, you know, as a professional, you want to keep professional no matter who it is, whether you're working with family, friends, a stranger, you always want to keep a consistent type of business style. So, you know, that's a little plug there of advice aside from what I'm saying. But, you know, at the end of the day, she's my mom, and we all know your mom sometimes is your mom. So, you know, sometimes she gets me in the point where I'm like, okay, Mom, like, you know, I might catch a little attitude with her. And, you know, it's not out of frustration necessarily with any of the work she's asking me to do or anything like that. You know, it's just because she's my mom, you know, and us girls have to give our moms a hard time every now and then. But as far as in general, working with family is not that bad as long as, you know, you keep your eye on the prize. You know, if you're focused on what you're supposed to be doing in that moment, work wise, and if, you know, especially, you know, I'm not doing this, you know, just out of the kindness of my heart. You know, if I was, I mean, I am doing this out of the kindness of my heart, you know, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying this is also, I am being paid as a professional to do this job. So therefore, I have to make sure that I meet a certain standard as a professional, because she may be my mom, but she's also my client. And she's also, you know, paying me for my time. So I have to make sure that I'm giving her the best of my time. You know, sometimes, since she is family, you know, I do slack on my end, but that's you know, that's something within yourself that you have to work on. And once you get to the point that no matter friend, family, stranger, you give consistent work, that's when you know that you've made some progress. So that's definitely something that I've been learning working with her. Um, as far as me personally, and whatever business that I decide to do, if I'm doing social media management, if I'm doing um, business management, if I'm doing lashes, nails, hair, whatever the case is, if I'm doing working at a marketing firm, I'm gonna keep it consistent. Um, that's really just a key thing. But I've learned that, you know, I have to make sure I'm doing my part that I was asked to do. Um, so if you're starting out, like, you know, like I'm not really, like I said, I'm not in depth in social media um, too far, other than me recently starting it back in 2019. So doing this type of work helps me build professionally um, in myself, because, you know, I'm learning, okay, like I have to make sure that I'm on this type of stuff ahead of time, or I have to learn that this type of communication works best, or how she was saying I have folders for and stuff, you know, that works best for me organization wise, you know. So it's easier working with family just because you can learn in the process as well. You can make those mistakes and not be judged as hard as you would be with someone who's just coming to, you know, purchase your service or product or anything like that. So
Well, Roshana, it's been a true honor to work with you.
yeah.
I have had several businesses over the years, and I didn't even, by the time you came along, I was working in corporate America. And so, but you've been by my side when I started the real estate business, you know, that I've, attempted to open a salon again back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And then now with Kingdom Heirs. And so this is building legacy. And so I'm going to pass it down to you. And I just love how you just, you know, low key, you preparing yourself to take over at any point in time. And so, but for those that are out there, Roshana does great marketing. She can get your website together. She can get your social medias built. Even though she doesn't like me to advertise that for her, but yeah, for those that are in the background and you
It's
need a
not that
social.
I don't like her advertising it, but you know, when she does, I get too many calls at the time. You know, hey, so I'm looking to do this and this and this, and you know, then I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm supposed to be under the radar. I'm supposed to be behind the scenes, you know. But it's always great, and I definitely appreciate, you know, the work that she does send to me. You know, the push that you give me to just always, you know, go further or take that extra step, or just, you know, jump outside of my box and do something new, or something that I might not necessarily enjoy all the time, but you know, you're pushing me to greatness, and I appreciate that always.
So you guys that are that is not following her, there's an error right there. If you click on that error, um, you follow Roshana. If you need some social media work done, need a website built, if you need a logo, she does all of that, and she does an excellent job. And so thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
And if you just need some templates to be built, that's something that we could put together for our online classes. But again, you know, Roshana, she's low key behind the scenes, and she's like, yeah, I don't know that I want to do that. But you know, you guys push her to get out there, because I said she could be a multi-millionaire today. But unfortunately, when you
Billionaire.
start a business and you're building a business, and Raven, you can attest to it, you know, you working. You got to put in the work. If you put in the work now, especially if you put it in now, you want to build a business that is going to, like, later on, once we get this built, like, I come on here live, but this time next year, everything is recorded. So where you think you may be watching me live, I'm gonna be somewhere with my toes in the sand. So you can create your own future. So if you build it, an online business, or, you know, to where it get it where it's moving, and people, all the people got to do is go to your website and shop and just download your information, your products, your services. Mm-hmm. You don't have to, you know, at some point you're not working anymore. You're now, your business is working for you instead of you working for your business. Because when you're self-employed, when I had a hair salon, I couldn't just walk away for a month, even though I had stylists in there and I probably could have, but you know, I had to be there to make money. Online business, I don't have to be there to make money, but I'm willing to put in the work now so that later I can sit back and everything that I built over the years will be working for me. And so, Roshana, any parting words?
You know, anyone who's building a business, you know, just keep going. And if you ever, you know, stumble across a down day where you're questioning, why are you doing this? Why, you know, are you putting in this much work and it's not returning what you really wanted? You know, just keep pushing, honestly. And just remember your passion behind why you started it, and that will always keep you going. You know, passion behind a business makes a successful business in my eyes. That's what I'm going to live by till the day I die. So those are my parting words. Thanks, guys, for coming. Appreciate all of you.
And for those that came in late, this will be down below. You can watch it as often as you like. Goodbye for now.